You all have come here with the desire for spiritual progress. By your sanskars, your accumulated karmas of many lives, you developed this faith that the solution to your problems and the process of your growth requires spiritual gain. When we endeavor to move ahead on this spiritual path, there are two primary requisites. One is detachment from worldly things, and the second is divine knowledge. With these two ingredients, we cultivate devotion or bhakti. For divine knowledge, the authority in our Vedic tradition are the four Vedas: Rigved, Yajurved, Samaved, and Atharvaved. These four Vedas are beyond defect because they are not a human creation. They are apaurushaya. They have not been created by the human intellect. They are manifest by God in the heart of the firstborn Brahma, and they come down from there. Hence, these Vedas are possessing infallible knowledge, and all other Vedic scriptures refer to these Vedas for authority. So, after the Vedas, we have got the 18 Puranas, which were written by Ved Vyas, who was a descension of God. And then we have the two historical texts called the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And further, the system of ethics and behavior is described in great detail in the 100 Smriti Granths like Manu Smriti. So this huge body of scriptures, how do we understand these and implement in our lives? So 6 sages or rishis wrote 6 philosophical theses. These are called the Shad Darshan. So they did not contradict this Vedic body of knowledge. They wrote it to understand from this. Maharshi Jaimini wrote the Mimamsa Darshan. Maharshi Vedavyas wrote the Vedanta Darshan or Brahma Sutra. Maharshi Gautam wrote the Nyaya Darshan. Maharshi Kanad wrote the Vaisheshik Darshan. Maharshi Kapil wrote the Sankhya Darshan. And Maharshi Patanjali wrote the Yoga Darshan. Amongst these, the most respected is the Vedanta Darshan or Brahma Sutras. And the second most respected is the Yoga Darshan or the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. But in terms of popularity, the Yoga Sutras are by far the most popular, particularly in the Western world. They give something tangible for people to understand and implement. So for the purpose of this retreat, I have chosen these Yoga Sutras. A few years ago, In 3 retreats in USA, I had covered the Narad Bhakti Darshan, and that benefited a lot of people. So this time I thought, let's take a look from the point of view of Maharajji's teachings. How can we understand these Yoga Sutras? Maharishi Patanjali has written his philosophy in 196 sutras. How did this come about? There's always stories attached. It is said that once human beings went to Lord Vishnu and they said that you descended in the world as Dhanvantari, but people are still afflicted by disease. And then there is also mental disease, emotional disease, spiritual disease. Can you help us out with all of these? So Vishnu looked at his Sharashaya, Anantashesh, the 10,000 hooded serpent on which he used to lie. And he said, Anantashesh will descend to provide this knowledge to you. Sometime after that, Lord Shiv was dancing, Nataraj, the great dancer, and Vishnu lying on Anantashesh was watching him. So Vishnu became so absorbed in the dance of Lord Shiv that as Shiv would make his movements, Vishnu would move on the bed. And Anantashesh was deeply impressed by that. So later he requested Vishnu that he also wishes to learn and practice dance. Vishnu said, so be it. Sometime later, there was a very wise lady called Ganika. Ganika had grown old, and she did not have any child with whom she could share her wisdom. So she was thinking, will I die with this wisdom in me? At that time, she took water in her palm, which is Anjali, and she was about to offer it to the Lord when suddenly a baby snake, baby serpent fell into her hand. So path means to fall, Anjali means the palm. And before her eyes, that little serpent transformed into human being. And that became the famous sage Patanjali. So Patanjali is reputed to be a scholar with multifaceted dimensions. He was definitely a great scholar of the yogic system. He was also a great Sanskrit scholar. Now there is various opinions. Some people say that Panini and Patanjali are the same person. Others say no. On the Panini grammar, there was one who wrote a great Mahabhashya commentary. That was Patanjali. This is the prevalent view. He also wrote a text on Ayurveda. And he also practiced danced up to the extent that till today, classical dancers always offer their respects to Patanjali. So in the Yoga Sutras, he has got 4 sections. Samadhi Pad, Sadhan Pad, Vibhuti Pad, and Kaivalya Pad. In these 4 chapters, he has got 196 sutras. Sutra means aphorism. Sutra also means a thread in which flowers are strung together. So in these sutras, he has strung together philosophy. If we see, most of these Shad Darshan have been written in the aphorism form, short, pithy sayings. The possible reason for this style is there was no printed literature. Written literature was difficult and rare. So students had to memorize the teacher's teachings, and hence simple aphorisms that could be easily by-hearted were more convenient.